So let's talk about church staff next on the Metal Pulpit. Thanks for joining me for another Metal Pulpit. I had to get away from the house, just go cruise around and enjoy the great day. I actually got 9 holes of golf in this morning, so I'm feeling pretty good about it. But yeah, the question that those of you that are on staff or have been on staff at a church need to wrestle with is fellow staff. We can look at it from a few different perspectives. We can look at it as you being on staff under a senior pastor, or if you're the senior pastor, lead pastor, you can look at it from that perspective as well. You know, when you go on staff at a church, whether in a full-time capacity, part-time capacity, or what we call gas money capacity, you have to take a few things into consideration. Now, if you're going to be a youth pastor, you need to consider, hey, you know what, your midweek time is going to be consumed, probably beyond, if you're a good youth pastor, beyond just the day that you do youth ministry. So that means if you have a family, you won't have a family night. You're not, the midweek service at your church, typically called a family night, isn't going to happen for you because you are working with teenagers. If you're a worship leader, okay, then what you need to understand is that you are not going to be sitting in on a whole lot of worship times where you get to sing and a worship team gets to lead. This is your calling in life. This is what it's going to be. For 8 years as a youth pastor in Milwaukee, I did not get to enjoy a midweek service because I was working with the teenagers, and that's okay. I mean, that's what I signed up for. That's what I went to school for. Now, if you're, like I said, if you're a worship pastor, you're always going to be the one ministering, okay? Unless you are good at delegating and stuff, but there's a lot of worship leaders that don't like to give out the lead of the role of lead worship. So there it is. You're going to constantly be putting songs together. You're going to be constantly leading instead of taking in and just following. If you're a children's pastor, okay, these are people that I work with quite often and have had a history with before. If you're a children's pastor, you have to know going into it, understanding you're not going to be in the service at all, okay? There are exceptions to the rule that some churches want the kids in the adult service and for the time of music, then they dismiss. And that's a cool model. Personally, that's what we do. But I run into a lot of kids pastors that inevitably, whether it's a short time or a couple years into it, they begin to say, well, I'm not able to take in any services. I'm not being fed. Yeah. And your point is what? Here's the deal. If you're a kids pastor, that is your calling in life. This is your vocation. And you have to know going into it that you are not going to be in hardly any morning services. I have a policy that on the 5th Sunday, the kids pastor and the kids, they sit in on the service and we have a family Sunday. But overall, no, you're not going to be taking in services. So for any staff position, senior pastors, when's the last time you got to sit with your family in a church service? I've been doing senior pastoring, lead pastoring for almost 15 years. I can count on this hand how many times I've sat in on a service with my family. If you're going to go into ministry, there is a cost to count. And that usually means you're not going to be able to be with your family on days of ministry. You have to know this going in, but I'm not surprised if you don't. Because look at how many people graduate from college with a degree in something only to switch it up saying, wow, I didn't think it was what it was. I didn't think that was going to be the case. What were you thinking? This is how it is. This is life. This is life in any job. This is life in ministry. Time to put on the big boy undies, big girl panties, and realize this is your calling in life and move on. Now, you can certainly get somebody to fill in for you here and there. Most senior pastors should be okay with that. But don't abuse that privilege. And realize this is your calling in life. make it awesome, and understand there are some things you just have to wave bye-bye to in order for you to do it and to do it well. Shoot me your thoughts, your comments. I'd love to hear them on this one. PastorBobAdams@gmail.com. Have a great day.